Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kissy. So today I'm going to do a reading, but before I start with the reading, the channeled message that I received today has to do with family values, and it has to do with the concept of family and really looking into like what family really means or what family represents. Those dynamics should be strengthened and grown, and the roots of that tree should be solid. There should be a foundation on which those dynamics are supposed to grow. And the foundation is the values, the family values, that should be always made the priority. So if you have a family that doesn't have a definition of values, or it's implied but not abided by, or it's like only in word but not deed, then when those dynamics fall apart, there's really nothing that holds it together. A family is supposed to be a group of individuals that work together as a collective, as a whole unit, and that prioritize the family needs, and then branch out into their own families from that root, and then from there continue to feed that system. But you can't have that in a family dynamic that doesn't address real issues, that doesn't have goals, that doesn't have priorities, that doesn't put family first, that doesn't consider the other, that doesn't allow others to be who they are, how they are, that avoid conflict or create conflict. You cannot have a foundation, a strong family foundation, without those things in place. You can't have a husband that doesn't respect his wife. You can't have a wife that doesn't allow the children to have a one-on-one relationship with the father, out of fear or out of coddling or out of anything. Whenever there's blockages to growing real relationships, to having a one-on-one, each child should have a relationship with their mother. Each child should have a relationship with their father that's unique, not one size fits all, not them versus us. You know how many family dynamics have where it's the parents versus the children, or it's the mother sides with the children over the father, or sides with this child versus those children. These dynamics are not supposed to be normal, but they happen. People don't value their relationships. People don't have purpose for their family. People forget that their role as a parent comes with a responsibility that would be respected when done correctly, is respected when done correctly. So if it's not, there's some kind of tyranny or some kind of authority issue, or respect issue, or a lack of communication in some ways. So where there is a lack of true intimate connection, meaning a dialogue that is sincere and real and able to have those uncomfortable conversations with the intention to make those dynamics strengthen. If you don't have that, you can't have the other. You cannot establish a strong family without those things. Now, some would argue and say you can have a strong family without it being but I'll tell you why. You can have a strong family, powerful in terms of they look like they have built a legacy in reality. But when behind the scenes, their dynamics are evil, crude, despicable towards each other and whatever it is, that's where you'll have that they all share one thing in common, the value of being powerful. So they're all willing to put on a front to look the part, and that's where they're in agreement. That's why you'll have powerful families that are corrupt or, by all means, their values are not great. But you would think that they were, because they must have great values. They must get along really well because look how close-knit they are. No, it's not about that they're close-knit. It's that, or maybe that they are, but you'll have they live by a certain rule, a certain code. It's not a code that's ethical necessarily, but at least they have a code. So I would argue that you could have a family with the best of intentions and best of love, but if they're constantly getting butthurt over arguments, or they're constantly getting, in fear of communicating, and they just isolate because we can't talk about it because it'll turn into a big blowout. And if it turns into a blowout, oh my God, now we're enemies, and we're not talking. And it's all just emotional drama. Even though there's a lot of love and a lot of desire to be close, and that's probably what creates a lot of the drama, even if you had that, it's weaker than a family of vile, evil, corrupt people that have the one value, that family first. That means that they will defend family even when they know they're wrong. They will defend family even if they're the evil villain of the storyline. I'm not saying it's correct or right, but I'm saying that's where you'll see that kind of, you'll assume, wow, they have great values. No, they have values that work, or they're making those values work for them. And if you're not even conscious of what values you live by, and if you don't stand firm on that, if you don't really take it to the house, take it all the way kind of thing, if you say, I don't tolerate this behavior, or this is not what my family represents, or this is not how my family is going to be, this is who we are. And somebody takes the reins of the family and says, this is what I expect for our family. And it's nothing that should go against anyone. It's nothing that should harm anyone. It's nothing that should make anyone feel that they're doing something that they don't want to do, other than to love each other, other than to work together, other than to protect and support each other. That's what matters in family. That's what makes a family strong. But when you don't support each other because you have gripes, personal gripes, or offenses, or defenses, or what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours, and if we don't agree, then we're enemies, and that's it. It's and everybody's kind of doing their own thing because everybody has their own life, and their own life has nothing to do with that family, with that root, with that foundation. And that's where you'll have, that's where there is no legacy. So if that's what you come out of, then you create it for yourself. But if someone has already established that, you build upon that and you make that work. And I think people misunderstand. It's no, if we're not getting along, then there's a problem to resolve here. Most people create problems or have problems, and the issue isn't the conflict that the problems bring as much as it is the fact that why is it not resolved? What is the core issue that this cannot be resolved? Because there's always a resolution. Can you live with this or can you not live with this? Can you be with this person there or can you not be with this person there? And if you absolutely cannot, you cannot agree, you cannot come to terms, you cannot come to a way that you're going to understand each other's needs. I heard this yesterday, boundaries. I forgot who said it, but she said boundaries is what you do for yourself. It doesn't demand anyone do anything. And that's a fact. You don't have to demand anyone to respect your boundaries. All you have to do is establish them. They're either going to respect them or they're not. And it's up to you that if they don't respect them, you know to maintain your integrity and stand on that. No, you won't disrespect me in such ways. Either learn to, engage with me appropriately, respectfully. Let's have that as a foundation. Come correct. And from there, we can have any conversation. From there, you don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to, you don't have to even really like me as someone that you would maybe socialize with daily or hang out with or have fun with. But you can respect, you can support, you can even value. Just because you love me as a person, loving me as a person does not mean you have to like everything I do, or you have to agree with everything I do, or you have to do everything that I do the way that I do it. So we can love each other and realize that we're different. And if we're different, we can at least appreciate that we love each other or that we are here to learn from each other and find the middle ground that we can grow upon. Our differences are not supposed to separate us. Our differences are supposed to help us learn ourselves better, learn to deal with different aspects. We're not all made of the same stuff in terms of, we are, but what I mean by that is, our elements are different. And our perceptions are unique based on how we perceive the world, based on how we've experienced life. So the people that are born into your life, that you call family, that's what you call the people that you're grouped with. But we can all agree that you're not always grouped with people that you're going to like. You're not always grouped with people that you get along with well. And that doesn't change the fact that you're family. You're family for a reason. So the way you create a strong family is by recognizing your purpose as a family. And it takes one individual to conceive that. In other words, it takes one individual to say, this is the vision, and then create it. It happens when you're aligned with someone that shares that value with you and says, I don't know why marriages and relationships are so complicated. Like, I guess they get complicated because of exactly what I just said. You're born into dynamics, and those dynamics shift your perspective and create your reality. And however much you dealt with in your formative years is how you look at the world. And then you go on and build worlds off of that false reality, a reality that hasn't. And imagine trying to tell someone, you have to get to the bottom line, or you have to get to, like, you can't fix something from the surface that's broken at the foundation. And that's what a lot of people want to do. They want to fix things. They want to make things pretty on the outside. They want to make things pretty on the top, on the surface. But when, you go really into the space, you'll find that they hide things underneath the bed, underneath the carpet, underneath, in drawers. I mean, I'm giving a metaphor here, obviously, of, the clutter of a person's emotional space, or the clutter of a person's mental space, where they think that locking things up in a closet or keeping dirty drawers and having things that they don't want to expose, or that they don't want to tell, or that they don't want to talk about, and because it's too hard to cope with. I will say that it's best to cope with it. The sooner the better. It's best to deal with it head on, and be willing to hear what you don't want to hear. Be willing to see what you don't want to see. Be willing to feel what you don't want to feel. Be willing to go through that, to get to the point of, here we are. Now that we're here and we can see, okay, this is where we are. Is this something that you are committed to or not? Because it's not to just fluff and say and pretend, yeah, you hurt my feelings, or you made me feel bad, or whatever the case might be, right? Something happened, some conflict occurred. And because time has passed, or because the silent treatment has gone for so long, it's almost like, okay, this is someone that I have no intentions of getting rid of, or someone that I have no intentions of not being in their life. This is someone I'm choosing to be in their life. So when you're choosing to be in someone's life, are you going to choose to live in a way that is not in balance with this person? Because let's say my way is a way that someone doesn't want or like. There's no reason for me to force that person to be with me if my way is not a way that they're at peace with. Because why would I want to be with someone that when they're with me, they're anxious, or they're angry, or they're frustrated, or they're overwhelmed, or they're rathering be elsewhere? It's like, who said you're obligated here? No one is obligated to anyone. I don't care what title you have. I don't care if it's parent, child. I don't care if it's spouse. I don't care if it's lover, whatever. There is no relationship that is obligated to you. And someone would say, well, a child doesn't have a choice. Their parent is obligated to that child. Actually, the law says so. But reality says that no one is obligated to anyone. And you would know that's true when you look at foster care, when you look at adoption centers. You know what I mean? Just because you have a child doesn't mean that you're going to do the right thing. So that's out the door. The expectation that someone is supposed to love you, that someone is supposed to take care of you, that someone is supposed to make your life easy or better is a lie. Nobody owes you that. And we'll say, well, yeah, parents should do that for their child. Of course, a parent should love their children and a parent should protect their child and all that. But also, a child is supposed to honor their parent and take care of their parent when they're old and all that stuff. Those are all the things that we say are morally correct, but yet, do you see that in everyday life all the time? No. So that means the expectation that that's how it should be, and therefore, because it should be that way, or pretend it is that way, when we know it's not that way, and then be miserable because somehow our life is not that perfect. And those are the conversations that need to be had, and those are the reality checks most people need to deal with. And it's like, just because you have this title in my life doesn't obligate me to you. It should always be a choice. And I should want to be around you. I should want to enjoy you. And if I'm not, there's a reason. And if I bring that reason up, and if I say, look, I love you from a distance because when I'm around you, I am not enjoying you. And there could be many reasons. If it's because of me, then I need to work on me. I'm not enjoying you, you know what I mean? Like, I can't blame someone for me not enjoying them. I have to ask myself, why don't I enjoy them? But if the reason I don't enjoy you is because every time I'm around you, you're bitter, you're bitching, you're arguing, you're making me the bad guy for something wrong in your life. If that's what I'm dealing with every day with you, then I know for sure I don't want to be around that. So therefore, I'm going to choose not to be around you. And I can tell you, hey, you don't have to change. You don't have to be better. You don't have to do anything. You keep being you. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'll just go over here. The problem is, a lot of times you can't really do that because you'll tell people, I'll let you be you. And you know what they do? No, please, I want to be around you. I love you. I want to be near you. Please, I want to stay with you. And you're like, well, I'm letting you know that I don't like these things. I'm not telling you to change them. I'm just saying I can't be around that. Can you change that? I don't think you can. Oh, of course I can. I can change that. And then 5-10 years down the road, they're bitching that you forced them to change into someone they're not. And you're like, I gave you all the freedom in the world to be yourself. You insisted. Did I force you? No, I never forced you. You changed because you said you wanted to. You changed because you said that's what you wanted. And a lot of times people say and do the weirdest things just to be with you, even if they don't like you. How does that make sense? Like, what is the problem there? You don't have to like me, but what is holding you to me? Obligation? Necessity? Shame? Fear? What? What is that? I understand you want to be around me, and every time you're around me, you can't get enough of me. You love being with me. I love being with you. Every time we're together, we just feel so good. We feel so good when we're together. And when we're not together, we just can't wait to be together again. We just cannot wait to see each other. We cannot wait to hang out. Whenever I want to do something fun, you're the first person on my mind. That's harmony. That's getting along. That's liking someone. That's appreciating someone. That's valuing someone. It's mutual. So I personally do not understand why people stay in relationships based on titles with people that they don't even like, but then when the dynamic is stale or doesn't work or doesn't exist, they're miserable because the expectation is that it's supposed to. And they'll tolerate bad situations or bad circumstances or bad experiences with people that they don't even like because of a title, that is abnormal. It's abnormal. I may not like things that you do. I may not even like certain perceptions you have about life. But I'm not going to debate that with you. I'm going to share my perspective in hopes that maybe from my perspective, you'll find like a middle ground, or you'll find a better perspective of it, or you'll see that it doesn't have to be that negative or that ignorant. And it's a two-way street. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. That should be well received. You know how many people don't want to be corrected if they're wrong? You're supposed to want to be corrected if you're wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't berate me. Don't mistreat me because I have a different opinion than you, or a understanding about something that you have a different perspective on. Share what you believe, share what you think, share how you feel, and I'll receive that, and I'll listen to that, and I'll either see it your way, or I'll see it your way but still choose my way, because it's not interfering with you at all. But if it is, and you mention it, then you have a choice to say, hey, what you're doing is interfering with me, and it's affecting me this way, in a way that I cannot allow it to. This is my boundary. I have a choice now. I either don't do that with you, around you, or to be with you. I have to let that go. Or I choose to continue to do what I do and keep it away from you. Or accept and let go of you if it's a deal breaker. Most people can't be that honest in their assessment of their dynamics. And because we're not meant to stay stagnant as people. We have different interests. We grow, we change, but what should at least remain is commitment. So if the foundation is, I'm committed to you because as long as you love me, I will love you. The moment you don't love me, I don't want you to be with me, or I don't want you to be around me, because when you don't love someone, you don't respect them. When you don't love someone, you don't treat them well. When you don't love someone, you won't care how they feel. When you don't love someone, how they think or what they need means nothing to you. So, love can exist, but the commitment is a choice. Because I could say I love you, but I don't have to commit to you just because I love you. I can love you and say, look, I love you so much to the point that I'll be willing to let you be, let you go. Because I cannot abide by your needs, or I cannot stop being who I am to accommodate you. And if that's what you need from me, to be someone I'm not, then I can't be with you. Or, you know what I mean? That's how you can have a realistic conversation, but those are conversations that should come early. So why would you say, oh, I love you and I'm committed to you, but behave in ways that are not loving or committed? And then when it's brought up, hey, our agreement stated that you wanted love and commitment, but these things here are not love and commitment. So either acknowledge that you went back on your word, or that you didn't fulfill what you said you would. And at least be real to the point and be like, you know what? You're right. I failed. I said that I loved you just to have sex with you. I said that I love you just to put a notch on my belt, for example, right? And then actually say, I love you. I lied. I don't love you. So I'd rather stay with you, even if it hurts you, and still do what I'm doing, the things that hurt you. But no one's ever going to talk that honest. That is trying to manipulate or use you in these ways. They're never going to say those things. But you could at least hold them accountable and say, look, this is where I stand, and this is what I need in a partnership. Do you think that's something that you want to commit to? And obviously that's not something you tell someone you just meet. But what are you meeting for then? Oh, hey, hi, friend. Oh, I like what you do. Let's be friends. Okay, let's be friends. Based on what? I like your energy. I like your vibe. I like how you think. I like how I feel around you. I like what you do. Or I like that we have this in common. Then that's it. You start there. But it should always come from that place of, I want to participate in your world. I want to be free to be myself in your world. I want you to want me to participate in your world. And I want to, at least at the minimum, respect your space, honor your boundaries. And by that is keep it real. Keep it 100. Keep it honest. If all you want is a one-night stand, say that. But they don't say that because you might say no. And then they don't have a chance. So instead of saying that, they'll say, I want a commitment. And that's dumb. That's just dumb. Don't commit. Don't pretend to want to commit. Because that is stealing someone's time, energy, life force. Think about it. Do you think people came to this earth to have their time wasted? And spiritual gurus will say, well, your time is never wasted. Because if you learn from it, it was never wasted. And that is true. Your time is never wasted. But it's messed with. Your time shouldn't be spent jumping through hoops, defending yourself, protecting yourself, arguing to stand up for yourself, fighting through life just to feel that your simple boundary can be respected. Your simple foundation of how to establish a connection can't even be valued or honored in any way. So much for a reading. That was the message. I think that's all, folks. I guess if I'll do a reading, I'll come back soon. Take care.